So it is Wednesday morning and it is poured all morning. I woke up at like 5 o'clock this morning and it was thunder and lightning like crazy, hammering down, pouring rain. And it is now 9:43 and the sun is out and everything's starting to dry up. They said the storm was going to be gone by 10 o'clock, which is good. Max was here for a little bit this morning, cleaned up some of the stuff from the workbench in the area where we painted his truck. So I came in and I cleaned up the rest of this shop. It was a mess. There was stuff everywhere. Mowers all over here, out of place, just wherever we could stick them. So I moved all the other mowers over here. You can see the workbench, everything. Max cleaned it up. The Walker, the Toro, and the V-Ride 2, and the Toro Time Master 30 over here with my two plows. And so there's a lot more room for activities and such. But on here for today, we have the Standard 32, X Mark 52 Vantage, and SCAG V-Ride 1 52. And this is the ideal setup for us for Wednesdays. We got a lot of properties with a bunch of hills that we need these standards for. They both handle great on it. You know, we have about 15 properties, 14, 15 properties where we need that 32. So one thing I did do is the bare spots on this platform where it's just bare flat metal are very slippery when it's wet out and your shoes are wet. So I bought this sticky grip tape and I filled in those areas. And I did the same thing on the back of the V-Ride 2 because that has a flat bare spot right across there. And when you're standing on there, your heels are always on there. It gets real slippery when it's wet. And it's going to be wet today. So the other thing that I did for today, we're going to try something new. A lot of guys have asked me, a lot of guys have seen me do it over the years, is the Baffle that comes in these Velocity Plus decks. You can move them up and down. This has a 3-position baffle, and the V-Ride 2 has a 7-position baffle. Now, this handles wet grass better than that one. That one does do a lot better now that I've kind of played with the baffle a little bit and changed the blade combination that has high lift short tails on it. But changing that blade to that blade and adjusting that baffle a little bit to get it as close to this one as I can where it was when I got this machine, that one's definitely doing better, a lot better than it was with wet grass. This one does pretty darn good, but it still has some issues. So somebody proposed an idea to me and I looked all over the interwebs and couldn't find it. So I'm going to try it myself. Since it's going to be very wet, very thick, very tall today because it's been growing like crazy, I took the baffle completely out. It's right there. And the bolts wouldn't come out because they were such a pain and they were nasty and rotted and crappy. So I got 2 of them to come out. The rest of them I cut out. No big deal. I got plenty of hardware. I can replace them if I put it back in. So we're going to run this today without the baffle in it. And I'll let you guys know how it works for wet grass, heavy grass, thick grass like we have up here in the Northeast. But I did send Max to get his truck inspected. I called my buddy's shop and he's there this morning, so I told him to go get it inspected and come back because we're not going to be leaving for a little bit anyway. We'll probably leave when he gets back now. This wind is really kicking up and getting crazy, and wind will dry out grass 10 times faster than sun will. So it's nice and windy out here. I don't know how much you can see in the camera, but the sun is coming out, the clouds are parted, and we're not supposed to get any more rain for the rest of the day. So as soon as Maximus gets back here, we're off and mowing. And then we'll pick Billy up when he gets out of summer school at 11:45 and then continue on our route. We'll have Billy with us too. Okay, this right here One cut, 3 inches in this whole patch here. One cut, 3.5 inches. I always double cut this every week. That's one cut. No laying grass, nothing to break up with the blower, nothing. I didn't think a SCAG could stripe any better than what it already does. I mean, there's a lot of controversy and a lot of people all over the interwebs saying my mower stripes the bestest net. Listen, anybody who's been in this game long enough knows that SCAG's the #1 striping mower. Whether it's the best cutting mower in certain conditions, you know, that's always disputable, but it is the #1 striping mower in the market. Has been since like the 80s. There's most guys, even guys that hate SCAG, don't dispute that. It's just the way it is. Unless you're Ryan Lilly, he disputes that. But anyway, I think it really is striping better than when I had that Baffle in there. As far as cutting goes, it is definitely handling wet, thick, and tall grass way better than when that Baffle's in there. That being said, you do get a lot more deck blowout in the front. So those of you that are wondering, that have asked me in the past, and even, you know, recently you guys have been asking me, do I move the Baffle up or down to reduce blowout? I would say down, because taking the Baffle completely out like mine is right now, that's just like moving the Baffle all the way up and then some, because you're taking it right out. So I would say down would probably reduce your blowout. Do get a lot of blowout in the front, so I definitely will not be running this Baffle out come fall, and I'm doing leaves because I definitely want less blowout in the front. But right now for grass, it makes no difference to me at all. But it is definitely handling better than it did. So enough talk, because there's way too many people talking on the internet that'll claim this or claim that. Let's do like we always do here at Countryside and get you some actual footage. We are leaving the shop. The day is over. The verdict on removing the Baffle out of that SCAG. It's a go. That thing is not going back in there. All right, boys. I'll lock up. Don't worry about it.
I know you will.
See what they do to me? Why do I pay them? Haven't I said that before? Man, the sun on the side of this building, a blind a fool. But yeah, so the Baffle is not going back on that SCAG until leaf season. Definitely, there's way too much blowout in the front, so definitely. But it does strike better in my opinion, and it definitely handles heavy, wet, thick grass much better without that long Baffle across the front of that deck. So the next verdict will be pulling it out of the V-Ride 2 and see how that one handles. If that one does the same, then we're on to something.
Always running on the back tailgate.
Oh yeah, Max's go-go beast. Vroom vroom. All right, we're out of here. We will see you boys tomorrow. We already loaded up. We have the SCAG V-Ride 1, the X-Mark, and the Walker on there again. That's right, the Walker. 2 days this week. Uh-oh.